Welcome back. This presentation, I'm going to look at the second part of the SAC that we've recently completed, and let us have a look at the question. Now this time, again, I haven't drawn the diagram, but the question says if the need to have a smooth join at B was removed. Okay, so the previous question, we had to join it at B with the gradient of 1, but now that criteria has been removed. The wall may be able to avoid the tree. So you see part 1, actually, we went through the tree. Suppose a parabola passes through A, B, and the point 24D. Now, let's have a look at the criteria now. And it says show. All right, this is pretty important. Now, to show that this equation is the correct equation means we have to develop this equation from our criteria. So what do we know? So we know that it passes through point, so it's a parabola, and y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And it passes through the point A, which is 0, 0. It passes through the point B, which is 60, 10. And it passes through the point 24D. All right, so let's have a look at A first. So we substitute this into our equation. We get A times 0 squared plus B times 0 plus C. Therefore, 0 equals C, and we get our first condition. From the fact that 0, 0, we get C equals 0. Now, this is 1 mark. However, you don't get 1 mark if you just say C equals 0, because you have not really shown or told the person marking it, oh, C is 0. It doesn't say C is 0, and you didn't show why C is 0. You just stated that C was 0. So it's critical that you show where did you get C equals 0 from. Yeah, it passes through the origin. So all you have to do is state, since it passes through the origin, C equals 0. At least you've got a better chance to get that mark. Part B, substitute 60, 10 into the equation. So let's put 10 equals A times 60 squared plus B times 60 plus C is 0, which we know now. 10 equals 3,600 A plus 60B. Therefore, 1, we had this before, 360A plus 6B, and that's equation 2. Okay, now, this equation is going to give us a mark. Okay, so we get a mark to say that equation. Let's now talk about this point D, and we want to, I'll put down here, sub 24D, and I might just put up here 0, 0, 60, 10, and 24D. Satisfies this parabola, because that I just need to say why I'm using these points. So to show, I can now take away that point there, because I didn't really, I just named the points. Okay, so we've substituted the first point, we substitute the second point, it satisfies. Now we substitute the third point since it satisfies, and we get D equals A times 24 squared plus B times 24 plus 0. And so D equals 576A plus 24B. And there is a third equation. All right, there is another mark. All right, so we've got our third mark. Okay, now we want to try and go ahead and find the value for A and B. At this point, we're going to get a mark for A and a mark for B. I'm going to take equation 1 and I'm going to multiply it by -4 because, oh, well, I did a substitution. I did an elimination before. Why don't I do a substitution for this one? So let's take 1 minus 360A. Actually, I should say from equation 2. So we see where we're getting this from. 1 minus 360A equals 6B. Therefore, B equals 1 minus 360A over 6. Okay, now if we substitute B equals 1 minus 360A all over 6 into equation 1, we get D equals 576A plus 24B. I'm just going to, all right, so if I cancel that 6 and cancel that in there, I get D equals 576A plus 4 minus 1440A. Now D, I'll just come up to here. Therefore, D equals, now 576 minus 1440A, 576A minus 1440A equals negative 864A plus 4. Okay, so that's what A is D minus 4 equals negative 864A. Now, therefore, A equals D minus 4 over negative 864, which happens to equal 4 minus D over positive 864. Okay, this is good. We just found A and it matches. Okay, so this is good. Now we want to find our value for B, and we come up and we substitute. We've got, doesn't matter which equation we use. Let's go and just use equation 1 again. Substitute A equals 4 minus D over 864 into equation 2. So 1 equals 360A plus 6. Okay, it didn't. replace A. Oh, well, I'll just write the equation first. 6B. So 1 equals 360 times A, which is 4 minus D over 864 plus 6B. All right, so let's see what 360. So let's 360 over 864 cancels into 5/12. Okay, now if I times everything by 12, 1 times 12 is 12. This fraction times 12 is 4 minus D. And this 6B times 12 is 72B. So I've timesed everything by 12. Now if I expand, I get 12 equals 20 minus 5D plus 72B. Okay, I want a B on its own. So therefore, I'll take 20, 12 minus 20 plus 5D equals 72B. So if we took the 20 across and the negative 5D across, that's negative 8 plus 5D equals 72B, and therefore divide that by B, divide that by 72, sorry. Okay, so B equals 5D minus 8 over 72, and that's correct. So therefore, Y equals 4 minus D over 864 x squared plus 5D minus 8 over 72 x. And we've finished. We've shown it, okay? So once you've stated that parabola at the end, we've finished. We've started from the beginning and we finished with our quadratic. Now, part B, show that this curve meets the given conditions. So we just have to show that the 3 given conditions, it works. So for part B, satisfies our parabola. So 0, 0 has to satisfy this parabola 1 minus D over 864 x squared plus 5D minus 8 over 72 x. Let's put a 0, 0 in there. So 0, 0 is criteria 1 satisfies. So let's test that. 0 equals 4 minus D over 864, 0 plus 5D minus 8 over 72, 0. 0 equals 0. True. Okay, so that's true. Second criteria. 60, 10 satisfies. So let's test that. 10 equals 4 minus D, 864, 60 squared, 5D minus 8, 72, 60. Okay, 3600 divided by 864 as a fraction. 3600 as a fraction over 864, and just see what this simplifies. This is 25 over 6. So 25 over 6. All right, 60 over 72 simplifies 60 over 72, 5/6. 5d minus 8 over 6. Okay, so if I times everything by 6, I get 60 equals 25, 4 minus d plus 5, 5d minus 8. 60 equals 100 minus 25d plus 25d minus 40. Minus 25d plus 25d cancel, and 60 equals 60. True. All right, so the second criteria works. Third criteria, I'll just put it in here. 24d satisfies. Almost finished part 2. So d equals 4 minus d, 864, 24 squared, 5d minus 8, 72, 24. Okay, 24 squared is 576. 576 over 864 simplifies to 2/3. So d equals 2/3. 24 over 72 is 1/3. Now, if I times everything by 3, I get, I'll just continue here, 3d equals 2, 4 minus d plus 5d minus 8, because the over 3 is cancelled because everything's times by 3. So 3d equals 8 minus 2d plus 5d minus 8. 8 minus 8 cancel. Therefore, 3d equals 3d. True. All right. So that's it. Part B is finished. So you get a mark for each condition showing that it's true. You get a mark to say that each of those is true. So this was worth, part B was worth 3 marks, and part A was worth, how many marks did we get in there? Did I stop? I stopped saying where all the marks came from. Yeah. So let's go back and say there's, oh yeah, I did say there was going to be 1 mark for A and 1 mark for D. So we get 1 mark for A and we get 1 mark for B. And that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we get 5 marks. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 marks for A. So there was 8 marks on this question. We had 17 marks for the previous question. That's 25. We'll have 6 left in part 3 to get 31. All right. So until next time, stay happy.